Guys, you heard it. The stat geeks now say LeBron is slow, and he didn't take kindly to hearing that. So, Max, does LeBron have a right to be so offended here?
No, he doesn't, and the stat geeks are not saying that. It's everyone else who doesn't understand the stat geeks who are saying that. All this is a data point. They tracked him in a certain series, and the data point is that he has been the slowest. That does not mean he's the slowest player in the series. That does not take into account his fatigue. None of the stat geeks think LeBron James is slow, I guarantee you. It's just a data point. Now, does LeBron James have the right to be upset that some people, I don't know, like Stephen A. Smith will frame it, or Will King will frame it, that the data, that the stat geeks are now saying that LeBron James is slow? Sure, he has a right to be upset at you guys for framing it that way, but that's not what the smart people who understand this are saying.
Here we go.
I'm going to try to be nice. You know, here's the problem with the stat geeks, or shall I say the stat geek lovers like Max Kellerman. Because while you have a valid point as it pertains to what the information may mean, and I'm in no way debating that, what you have to take into account is the manner in which it's interpreted, how it's disseminated, and what kind of impression it may give. See, the problem with analytics, first of all, let me say this. This notion that somebody like me or others are against analytics couldn't be any further from the truth. Pat Riley was actually using analytics in the early 90s. Ask some of the players who worked for him. Coaches have been using analytics for decades. They've educated us about analytics for decades. Analytics actually play a role in determining, to some degree, what I think about a particular player and why. That's not foreign. The problem is that some analytic dudes want you to believe it's the be-all and end-all. And there are some executives who utilize that information to value or devalue individuals, especially during contract time. If you doubt me, Max Kellerman, ask any agent out there. They'll be the first to tell you that, along with the players themselves. Now, that's not applicable to LeBron James because he's max player no matter where he goes, because he's the greatest in the world. But when you consider the fact that he's logged 44,258 regular season minutes, that his playoff minutes have now exceeded 9,700, that already he's logged more than 50,000 minutes in his career, and you just put stuff out there, and you don't take into account pacing. You don't take into account the fact that he knows what he's going to need to do as a game wanes, et cetera, et cetera. That's where it perturbs you, because what happens is people are going to take that information, whether they try to say they intend for it to happen or not. There is no question that the manner in which the information is going to be interpreted gives the impression that either he's slower or he's somewhat lazy because he's taking plays off, et cetera, et cetera. Forget about the truth of it or whatever. In the end, what it comes down to is that you're going to have the impression that people are going to stomach it that way, and that's what they're going to have a problem with.
Hold on, Max. You threw some side glances there. You threw some blows along the way. You can't keep just walking down the street and not expect a rebuttal. You know, why is everybody so worried about what people are going to do with these stats, impressions, and how it's going to be framed and interpreted? The only person that is framing this, the only person that's interpreting this is LeBron. It's not me. Now, I appreciate your love of data, Max. It's apparently led you into the realm of predictive analytics, that you know something that's going to happen in the future. You're like Nostradamus. You're so deep in the data. You know what I'm thinking before I think it. You know what Stephen A. is going to argue, what I'm going to argue before I speak. So I didn't frame anything. I didn't say anything. The stat is what it is. Okay?
Right. However, let's be honest about what we're doing here, guys.
Hold on. The stat says he's the slowest player on the court.
Right.
So what? Why is he so sensitive about it? At last I checked, he's hanging 40 and putting up triple doubles. I don't see the reason for sensitivity. I don't see the reason for framing it.